Hi everyone, and happy summer 2018. Time for another video, so let's get to it. So this next video is something that is really important for me, and it relates to me as a person and as a professional. And that's a video based on a beautiful Harvard Business Review study on those 4 things that defines successful executives from non-successful executives. Statistically, 50 to 60% of all executives, they fail within the first 18 months of starting this new role. Harvard asked them, why do you think you failed? And 61% said, I just think I wasn't ready. And 76% said, I don't think the company allowed me to make a difference. They didn't put me in the best position possible. But the study wasn't centered on those unfortunate executives that failed, but on those that actually succeeded. And it underlines 4 different actions that are recurring in every single story across industries and different companies. Maybe you'll remember that a few months ago, we've done a video on the 3 dimensions of innovation, which were width, depth, and volume. And it's really interesting to see how those macro categories are actually recurring in these 4 different actions. First action is in fact width or breadth. Successful executives are able to see the organization as a whole. Most of the time, executives come from a specific department within the company or outside, so they have the background. And typically, they tend to see as privileged that department. So if I come from marketing, I tend to apply my marketing mindset to the whole organization. But that doesn't work because now my role is different. It requires more breadth. It requires more width of understanding. So the successful executive are those ones that are able to see the organization as a whole because they know very well that it's the integration that drives the competitive advantage. Number 2. Context. Very similar to depth. So understand the whole organization, understand with a wide and open mindset, but really focus on your context. No one has a formula from success. So even if you're a great CEO and you come from a very successful company or startup operating in that industry and you transition to another company in the same industry, it doesn't mean that the same formula that brought you to be so successful in the first place will work also in this new context. So successful executive, they know perfectly the organization, the industry, the trends, the customers, and the dynamics within the new organization and the new context. Number 3, which is very similar to volume. You remember when we talked about volume, we talked about the importance of having a bias to action, being drawn towards taking actions. And this is exactly how it translates on the field for executive. Every successful executive has no fear of taking choices and of saying, perhaps, no. Studies, and this is my favorite part of the study, show clearly that too many executives are afraid to create discontent and discomfort and frustration within the team, so they never say no. They tend never to say no. But that, for as important as team spirit, which is fundamental, tend to make the company go off the rails. Because if you're an executive, you're there to take responsibility and to take decision. The main abuse of power or misuse of power from executive is actually the abandonment of it. 4 element. Connection. It's incredibly important to invest time in stakeholders' relationship. No one wins alone. So how are you able to create successful relationship and strong relationship with peers and key stakeholders will determine the probability of your success. This doesn't have to be misunderstood with politics. It's actually something that will empower you as an executive to actually get the job done and deliver on your expectations. It's really important to underline that this is an iterative cycle, that it's not a cascade process, that you can't master context without relations and you can't master choice without breadth. I believe it's really important to understand that there are these 4 elements that are statistically recurring in every story of success of every executive across context and across industry. Over the course of my career, I met a lot of executives, some of them very good, some of them very lucky, some of them very successful, and some other actually, very myopic and that contributed to, unfortunately, to the failure of this or that company. But now, underlining that statistically, this 4 dimension exists, contributes to give you a useful framework through which you can analyze and understand better those dynamics that will really bring you to be successful or not. It will draw the line between success and failure. It's all for now. I hope you like it. Thank you for being here. Please subscribe, comment, share, do whatever you want, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, ciao everyone, and rock on.